Was, Andrew. Thank you so much for that report. Well, we're now joined by Giffords' close friend, Congresswoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Good morning to you, Congresswoman.
Good morning, Ann.
So this has got to be one of the most triumphant returns ever in Congress. A House divided, united, in tears, and with so much emotion. But what were Congresswoman Giffords' emotions? How much did this warm welcome mean to her?
You know, she was absolutely overwhelmed. When she came in the chamber, she was excited. She was greeting people all the way up the stairs. What was so incredible, and this just shows you how much progress that she's made. It's one thing for her to recognize, good friends' faces and colleagues, but as she walked up the stairs, she saw Bill Livingood, our House Sergeant at Arms, and immediately said "living good" and gave him a big hug, and it was just another example of how much fight and determination she has. She felt it was absolutely crucial for her voice and the voice of her constituents to be present in that room, either if she needed to be the pivotal vote to make sure that the country didn't default for the first time in history, and then she ultimately decided that it was important on really probably the most important bill that we will consider this whole Congress, that the constituents in the 8th District of Arizona had their representative there to cast her vote.
That said, as a measure of what she had to overcome to be there, what were her worries? I know you started talking about this on Sunday. What were her worries about when she was trying to make the decision about whether or not to go?
Well, actually, she didn't have too many worries. As she watched the debate unfold, as she followed the discussion, she came to the realization that it was, absolutely critical that her absence not be the reason that the nation could default. She thought it was important for her to be there to cast that vote. It was, in terms of worry, I didn't detect any worry. In talking to Mark and to Gabby, they felt, Gabby especially, that her district needed that voice in that room. Now she's going to go back and continue her recovery. She's got a long way to go, but this was a triumphant return, and I mean, just listening to the whole thing all over again was I teared up again. It's just. So it was such a moment that the Congress needed, that the country needed. Everyone's been praying for this moment, and for it to happen at a time when we have had bitter partisanship and very grizzled, hardened hearts. Gabby melted that hardened heart last night, and hopefully it's an opening and an opportunity for us in the second half of this effort, as the commission begins to meet, for us to really come together and put forward a balanced plan that makes sure we can get our economy really on the way again to turning around and recovering.
All right, Congressman, I want you to stand by because I want to quickly bring in NBC's chief medical editor, Dr. Nancy Seiderman.
Sure.
It appears, based on what we're understanding, how much she recognized how great she looked, that we're witnessing something of a medical miracle.
Well, it was a wonderful outcome of an amazing woman who really epitomizes everything that can go right in a horrific accident. Phenomenal emergency response in Arizona, great neurosurgical team, great trauma center, level 1 care, phenomenally strong young patient, a rich family support system, and the bullet trajectory meant that we knew early on she wasn't paralyzed, but it did go through the frontal lobe, which is the executive thinking part of the brain, and it exited sort of the language part. So I'm thrilled that she made this entrance yesterday, and I think Congresswoman really pointed out that now she still has to really work on the language and speech and executive functions, but it was a phenomenal moment and a real story of what can go right in the U.S. medical system.
All right, Nancy Seiderman, thank you so much for that important perspective. And Congresswoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz, may you be right that this glow will last in Congress for some time to come.
We're going to work